Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. Welcome back to my playthrough of Ace Combat Zero. On this part, we're going to be finishing the game. There's only 2 missions left, and we're going to be doing the best boss battle in the series. Let's do it here. The Valley of Kings, Operation Point Blank.
I'll transmit the latest data we've received from the Allied forces. According to this, the dam is protected by an intensive anti-aircraft defense network. To deal with this, the Allied squadron will draw anti-aircraft fire to itself in the skies. Meanwhile, Galm team will join the Allied squad's Avalon Dam strike team and approach the target at low altitude through the canyon. That's the only way we stand a chance at succeeding. If you destroy the V2 launch control facility, you should be able to stop the weapon from being fired. The V2 will probably be equipped with a nuclear warhead. The destruction caused by its single warhead will most likely dwarf the damage inflicted by that tactical nuclear attack before. All the Allied forces will be mobilized for this full-scale operation. It seems this war doesn't want to come to an end. We must stop the V2 launch. Hurry!
Okay, let's see, all hell, definite, and infinite are as unrelated. None could foresee that the history of the two would become one. And this game has a very strong anti-war message. I'll kind of explain it near the end of the game here.
Pilots, check your plane and prepare for refueling. 1 mile to refueling craft. $500 yards to go. Perfect, Galm 1.
Galm team, keep low to the water on your approach to Avalon. You'll be shot down if you fly high. Get to the enemy fortress. Once you're close, increase altitude and fly over the dam.
This is PJ. If I'm with you, I know I can do it. I'll follow your lead. It's the Galm team. We've been waiting for you. Follow us. We'll escort you to Avalon.
You've passed the first bridge.
Damn, get it for him. Calm down. Galm isn't the only team that can fight. Alter 5, incoming missile. Our guys above are taking the heat. Don't let them down.
Hurry, but keep it cool.
Sorry, 74 going out.
Joker 1's down. 10 planes left.
Joker 4 disengaged. 9 planes left.
Galm 1, all hell's breaking loose above. Fly as low as possible to your target.
Stay sharp. You don't want to get here. The wall.
Joker 3's dead. 8 planes left.
This mission is so depressing because no one makes it out, except you.
Gizmo 2, hang in there. It won't be long until Galm team takes out the V2. Domino 2 is down. 7 planes left.
Joker 2 also went down. 6 planes left.
Crap.
5 planes left.
You passed the third bridge.
This is salvage 1.
Somebody also went down. 4 planes left. Come on. The rest of us can still make it through this.
This is salvage 1. Any more people die? No! Terminal leader's been taken out. 3 planes left.
Damn, there goes Domino 4. Only 2 planes left. If we can just make it through here.
the dam was built by Belkan before the war. It was meant to... It looked like an actual dam, but it was actually a launch control facility.
Take a bomb. Galm team will handle the V2.
We're gonna stop it no matter what. I never want to see that barren land again.
V2 is ready for liftoff. Beginning countdown. 7 minutes to V2 launch.
There are 3 launch control devices positioned at the base of the dam. Destroy them all.
We will carry out the new creation of destruction through the power of righteousness. Territories, peoples, authorities, all will be liberated. This is the new state a world with no boundaries will create. Neither nations nor nationalities have meaning. We will erase these unnecessary borders. The world with no boundaries will pen a new story. The world will change.
Take out the launch control devices before barriers close up and cover their facilities.
Our battery's been hit! Fire! Got power from all facilities destroyed. Don't let the circuits short out. Initiate anti-air fire. Light up the sky with flames. Show them what Avalon is all about.
Fox 2! Fox 2!
All main oxygen valves are now open. V2 launch phase 1 is complete. Phase 1 complete. Moving to phase 2.
Fox 2!
Avalon, this is the final destination.
It's the Demon Lord. He's really here. Engage in aerial combat. We've got him. There's only 2 of them. 5 minutes to V2 launch.
The V2 is the most dangerous nuke in the entire Ace Combat series. It has 8 nuclear missiles inside of it.
From launching the V2. Can't let them destroy the world.
Radar lock! Enemy facility destroyed. The control facility barriers are halfway closed. Move it, Galm team! Enemy facility destroyed.
Warning! The enemy's locked onto you!
Missile evaded. Locked on. Sam destroyed.
Don't save your ammo. Fire everything you've got. Concentrate all defense on the central area. If we can get off a successful launch, we've won. Turbo fuel pump is running smoothly. V2 launch phase 2 is complete. Phase 2 complete. Moving on to next phase. Our facilities have been damaged. I'm detaching a module section.
Fox 2.
Our facilities have suffered additional damage. We've lost the stabilizer and gyro systems. 3 minutes to V2 launch.
Enemy facility destroyed.
So what these guys are trying to do...
At all costs, even if our planes get hit in the process.
Warning! The enemy's tracking you on radar!
Missile evaded.
Man, I love the final soundtrack.
Friendly fire. Just unload everything you've got.
Locked on. Bandit down.
Proceeding with countdown.
Locked on.
Hold them off until V2 is launched. Initiating launch sequence. There's no time. Operated manually. Skip sequences 3, 4, and 5. Moving into launch position first.
So what they're trying to do is, these guys, A World with No Boundaries, they are basically anarchists that are from Osea, Belka, Sapin, and they are former soldiers. They saw the devastation that Belka did with the nuclear weapons, and they believe that governments should be abolished, and that with a nuclear apocalypse that the world can start over again and there won't be any more war. It's a twisted view.
All V2 control facilities have been destroyed.
We did it! We stopped the V2 launch! We're gonna be rich!
We're confirming the situation. Cipher, PJ, stand by.
Navarro is finally over. I got a girlfriend back at the base. I'm gonna propose to her when I get back. I have about flowers. Warning, unknown target approaching at high speed. Break, break. Ah! Dang it!
PJ just died, by the way. That was the most unexpected death in the Ace Combat series.
So, have you found a reason to fight yet? Buddy.
0, the final mission. This is the best boss battle in the entire series. Without beginning or end, the ring stretches into the infinite.
Confirmed reactivation of nuclear silo. GOM team, continue your mission. Engage. Stand by. We're analyzing the situation.
Pixie is in the experimental Morgan fighter.
Shoot down the enemy. I'll run a plane analysis and fill you in ASAP.
If you notice, that plane looks very similar to the drones in Ace Combat 7. There's a reason for that.
Long time on the battlefield, start to think they're invincible. I bet you do too, buddy.
He has 3 special weapons also. The laser is really deadly. Watch out, gotta watch out for it. This is the theme of the Belkan War that's playing right now also.
Analysis complete. Transmission from enemy craft detected. He's controlling the V2 launch.
Can you see any borders from here? What is borders giving us? We're going to start over from scratch. That's what V2 is for. analysis of the enemy craft. Codename Morgan. This plane is protected by an ECM defense system. Its only weak point is in the front air intake. You'll have to attack it head on. Go, take down Morgan. You're the only one who can stop him. Name the Lord of the Round Table. I pray for your success.
The only way to take him down is from the front now.
Opposite sides of the same coin.
You have to joust him.
Galm 1, go for his front air intake.
When we face each other, we can finally see our true selves. There may be a resemblance, but we never face the same direction.
And you have to take him down before the 5 minutes of the V2 hits.
V2 re-entry in 5 minutes.
Try again from head on. Fire away, coward!
Okay, this ends here now.
Now we find out who's number one. Come on!
Mission accomplished, Cipher. Come on, let's go back home. You wouldn't want to keep anyone waiting for you.
So this is the hidden truth about the war. And this is where his trail ends as well. The impact of the 7 nuclear detonations on the world's psyche was great. Those who witnessed the carnage went on to organize a global arms reduction. Perhaps they were admonishing themselves. Furthermore, the existence of V2 was concealed. The events that occurred after the war faded from people's memories, and these men were also sealed away from history. Maybe this was one path to achieve peace. And here the curtain falls on this story. However, that does not mean their own stories came to an end.
A nation is comprised of the individuals who live in its borders. It can only become a nation when it is supported by those individuals. But mercenaries who cross lines in allegiance for money have no country to protect. They only fight for their own power and fame. But if that was the case, then why did I lose to him? Maybe not having the burden of a nation allows you to fly faster.
I bailed out and landed here. The captain was gone. I've lived a comfortable life since then, and I probably have him to thank for that. They ring the bells here at dusk to honor the liberation of the capital. It signals peace, but to me, they are the sounds of death.
Is the man still alive? Though I guess it's hard for bad guys like us to die. The real heroes always manage to die first. But guys like him, Solo Wing, and me, we live the rest of our lives in hell. But then again, being alive is proof that we were good.
That guy's a war criminal.
Marcela Vasquez, the Espada Team's number 2, and former member of the Sapan Air Force, 9th Air and Land Division, 11th Tactical Fighter Squadron. She is thought to be a survivor of the Coup d'etat squadron. She currently earns a living as a dancer.
If the Demon Lord hadn't appeared, our lives might have been different. For me, it wasn't about flying or ideals. Most of all, it was about him, my flight lead. Our mission was to escort the heavy command cruiser that was to act as transportation for the organization. And the Demon Lord appeared, as if to block our path. I will never forget his overwhelming power. One by one, my comrades were shot down, and then the mother bird we were supposed to protect. I returned alive from that battlefield, and I returned to this city where I grew up. I left the organization, too. I never went back to the sky again. There's no meaning there now that he's gone. He died in that fight.
You could have spared his life, but I killed him.
Anyone. The regret and suffering that remained after that battle were also what he had given me. They're among the precious few things he left behind.
He was her lover, and when his aircraft is disabled, you can spare his life.
Former
But I killed him.
lieutenant of the Ocean Air Defense Force, 8th Air Division, 32nd Tactical Fighter Squadron. He's been missing for some time, along with Captain Bristow of the same unit, since the decisive Battle of Valdreich. Captain Bristow is rumored to be one of the founding members of A World with No Boundaries. Palmer's ties to the captain have led many to believe that he is a high-ranked individual within the group. He currently works for an insurance company based in Aurid, the capital city of Osea.
Demon Lord was right. Everything he touched fell apart. I thought I was watching magic. When I was in the military, they called me an ace too. I got medals for my actions on numerous battlefields. I never felt fear toward an opponent. The same went for my ideals. I wasn't afraid to take on even an entire country. But when I was fighting him, something felt different. At first, I didn't know what it was. It wasn't until I noticed my hands shaking on the flight stick that I realized. It was fear. It's embarrassing, but once I felt that, I couldn't fly anymore. I felt guilt toward my companions at the time. There's always a war somewhere, and I'm sure he's on some battlefield somewhere fighting even now. He'll always have a place to live.
This is Pixie, the guy you dogfighted at the end, your former wigman.
Larry Falk, also known as Solo Wing Pixie. Galm Team's number 2, and member of the Ustio Air Force, 6th Air Division, 66th Air Force Unit. That's right. This man was his buddy and his enemy.
I should have died that day, but I didn't. I dragged my wounded body and reached ground zero of the nuclear detonations. A barren, empty land. I felt an unbearable sadness when I witnessed that landscape. There were still people living there. They were the ones that saved me. It may be true that the world has no need of borders, but would getting rid of them really change anything? The world won't change for the better unless we trust people. Trust is vital in a peaceful world, but that will never happen. I'm still on the battlefield. Right now I'm near a border. I want to see for myself what borders really mean, and what their volition really is. I may not find what I'm looking for, but I still want to try. Anyway, that's what I've come to believe, and I think that's enough. Will he see this video? If you do meet him, give him a message for me. Yo, buddy. Still alive? And thanks, friend. See you again.
So about Pixie is Pixie...
Lord of the Round Table. A warrior who soared through the Belkan War, inspiring both fear and admiration. His presence filled the skies for but a few short months before he disappeared. Apart from that, nothing is known about him. I was never able to find out what kind of a person he really was. But whenever they talked about him, they always had a slight smile on their faces. That, perhaps, may be my answer.
So, the interview basically in that documentary shapes the type of person that you are described as. And because I played as mercenary, I played as a pretty ruthless guy, and it's actually believed that the bad ending is the canon ending, because your character was a mercenary. For example, you see Pops fleeing from Schwartz Squadron in the mercenary playthrough, and that was canon. Pops did flee from them. So that's why a lot of people believe the mercenary route is canon. But about Pixie ejected, and that was 10 years later. He was fighting in the Continental War against Erusia as a mercenary, which is the war in Ace Combat 4. It's a separate conflict that takes place 10 years later. But this is the war where it all started. This is the Belkan War. This is the prequel to all the other Ace Combat games. And with Ace Combat 8 coming out this year, yes, this war is going to be referenced. I guarantee you. Because in almost every single Ace Combat game, the Belkan War is referenced. In almost every single one. Except 4, I would say. Or I should say, yeah. 4, but it's referenced in 5, 6, 7. Yeah, you will most likely see it in 8, referenced again. But also that woman that was from Espada Squadron, you shot down her wingman, who was also her lover, and you can actually spare his life because he starts fleeing when his aircraft is disabled. But I killed him, and that changes the cutscene there. I think the canon ending is just being a mercenary and just being ruthless, but this game has a very strong anti-war message, and what the message that the game is saying that any kind of idea, even good ideas, they can become extreme and they can become devastating and deadly. Just look at what happened with Belka, for example. Belka's economy collapsed, and you had ultra-nationalists that came to power. And the idea of loving your country, well, there's nothing wrong with that in putting your country first. It was this raging ultra-nationalism, which had basically caused the Belkan War. And then Belka started making land claims to all these other countries, invaded them, started this horrible war. And because of the extremism of these people that were loyal to the regime, they nuked their own country. Belkan pilots that nuked their own country for their own regime. And at the very start of the game, you are fighting far-right extremists. So that's what the Belkans are. The Belkans are far-right extremists for the majority of the game. But then in the final part of the game, the final chapter of the game, the last 4 missions, you are actually fighting far-left extremists. And they are from a world with no boundaries. And they were basically pilots from all the nations. OC, Belka, Sapin, and they saw the destruction that the war caused, the nukes, and that devastated them. And a lot of these guys, they're tragic villains. I don't think that they're completely evil. They did have a good view that they wanted, you know, a world that was of peace, of no more war, but the way that they wanted to go about it was wrong, where they wanted to basically nuke the entire world into oblivion to restart again. They believed that governments, that these evil governments in Ace Combat were selfish, and they started the war. And remember how they said in the Wizard Squadron said that, or no, Sorcerer Squadron said that these borders are going to cause new wars, and they were right. You know, 15 years later, it does. It starts a Circum-Pacific War, which Belka instigated in Ace Combat 5. So what the developers are saying is the developers are basically saying, screw this extremism, this far right and this far left extremism. It's a world with no boundaries. These guys, like I said, they were tragic villains. A lot of these guys are soldiers. You know, they saw the horrible things that went through. Pixie, for example, was a war orphan. His parents were killed by Osea when they invaded Belka. He became a mercenary later in life, and seeing this destruction and this violence over time, it shaped his view, and basically he became an extremist. You know, that's how this stuff happens. So that's what the developers are saying, is that these far left extremists, while they wanted to basically, you know, prevent war, at the end of the day, it's two sides of the same coin, both the far right and the far left. And that's what the developer was saying, is what a world with no boundaries, what they were doing is they were just like Belka. They said that they were against war, but they started this horrible, you know, conflict that killed how many people, and they wanted to fire the V2 nuke, which had 8 nukes in it. It's the most deadliest missile in the series, and that would have just caused, devastating loss of life. So the solution is not to abolish borders. The solution isn't to abolish governments, but the solution is to get rid of this extremism, because this extremism is basically what causes these wars. That's what they're saying. A lot of these governments are evil, and they did have a point, that these governments, they use their soldiers, they have selfish interests, they invade countries for resources, they make up excuses for starting countries, but at the end of the day, the solution isn't to abolish every single government on the planet, abolish borders. The solution is to stop this extremism from growing into what it ended up growing into, which ended up causing the Belkan War. That's what the developers are trying to say in the moral in the game. Interviewer Brett Thompson. That's the documentary. It has an ending just like a documentary. I love the documentary style how they did when they explained this war. Rank S. There we go, look at that. That is my entire campaign progression there. Most of the missions I got rank S in, almost all of them. Some of them I got rank A in, but I never got lower than rank A. There I got a rank A there. Rank S on the 2 final missions too. So, I know I'm gonna have a lot of questions, I'm gonna have a lot of questions of people asking me, they're gonna ask me, am I gonna play the game to get the good ending? Because there's, if you play, there's 2 other endings, there's a soldier ending, and then there's also the good ending, which is the knight ending. But the mercenary ending, the evil ending, is actually the canon ending. It's most players believe it's the canon ending, which is also why I did. And also, this is an anti-war game, which I thought that it would make much more sense to play as an evil mercenary. You know, it just shows the horrors of war. This is probably the best anti-war game that I've played. I know Spec Ops: The Line is another really good one, but this one, it just shows, I think this game has even stronger message than Spec Ops: The Line, because it just shows how this extremism, both this far right and this far left garbage, how it basically just causes, you know, conflicts just like this. I will say I will play the soldier and the knight ending. I will do another playthrough of this game, but I'll do it if Ace Combat 8. There's a rumor that Ace Combat 8 is going to release this game as like an HD remaster, the same way that they released Ace Combat 5. If they release this game as an HD remaster, then I will play this game right after Ace Combat 8. I'll come back to this game and I'll do a playthrough of the other endings. I'll do that. But right now I don't want to, do another playthrough because we just finished the game. Lastly here, I wanted to say at the end about Belka, the main villain country in this game. Belka was based on 3 nations throughout this story, and the 3 countries that Belka was based on is, the first one is it takes inspiration from the Russian Empire, and the reason for that is because the extremist political party that ended up taking power in Belka is called the Liberal Democratic Party of Belka, which is based on the Liberal Democratic Party of Russia, which is actually an ultra-nationalist, far-right political party. It's a very extreme party. They call for shooting their political opponents. They've called for using nuclear weapons in Ukraine. It's a pretty messed up political party, and those are the guys who took power in Belka. That's their version of their political party. It's also heavily inspired by the Nazi party, but Belka's flag is, if you look at Belka's flag, it's black, white, and yellow, and has like a black line through it. It's actually very similar to the Russian imperial flag. So the Russian imperial flag, very similar colors. I have those side by side on the screen right now. So first country it's based on it's based on the Russian Empire. Second country that it's based on is Belka has parts of Yugoslavia and Serbia that it's based on because the Balkan War happened in the 1990s and several countries broke away from them, notably Ustio, and then Belka ends up invading them, very similar in the Yugoslavian and the Balkan Wars. And it's believed that the Balkan War is a reference to the Balkan Wars because it also takes place in the 90s, this game. And then the third country, the one that has the most amount of inspiration for Belka, is Nazi Germany. Belka's city names are very German-like, including like Hoffnung, which means hope. They have their dangerous weapons like the V1 nuke and the V2 nuke are based on the V1 and the V2 nukes. It's also based on how Belka's economy collapsed and then an extremist ultranationalist party came to power, similar to how Nazi Germany's economy collapsed, and then you had the Nazi party that ended up coming to power and turned the country into a dictatorship and started just such a terrible war. But that's basically what Belka is. A lot of the countries in the Ace Combat series have inspirations from several countries, but that's the inspiration for Belka. So I guess we will be wrapping up this this playthrough here. Thank you guys for watching this. I hope that you guys enjoyed this playthrough. Did drop a like, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.